everybody, welcome to another episode of What's New with Nadine, where this week I discuss 3 reasons why I am addicted to intermittent fasting. 3 reasons. I want you to stay tuned. I'll list them all, and if you stay till to the end, I will show you this week's selection of items that I bought at the consignment shop. I always like to put that little bonus detail at the end of each video so that you could see what usually $25–30 has bought me this week on my little jaunts and trips. Okay, well, thank you, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing or hit the like button down below. Comment if you like. Now, I can talk about intermittent fasting for an hour, and so I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can and just put in the things that I think are very meaningful and important. But days will go on, of course, and I will remember all other things that I could have added, but that couldn't be till infinity. So, if you have any questions or if you're really curious about some other things regarding intermittent fasting, please direct message me on Instagram, leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions, and let's get started. Of course, full declaration, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I have 0 background in health and fitness, but it is something that I'm very interested in, and I've done a lot of research, but I don't have any credential. I think that if you're interested in this, you should do your own due diligence. Google has a plethora of articles and links. You should consult your doctor and have all the questions answered, and do a fair amount of studying to see whether this is something that you'd like. And for those of you that are new to my channel is a conduit for women, I'd say of a certain age. I'm 53, and I'd like to bring to you the things that I value in staying youthful, and I try to feel young, look young, put my best foot forward, and intermittent fasting is a huge component to that. And so let's get started. So, because there are so many things, I had to write a script so that I could stay focused and keep in sequential order of how I discovered this, how I started practicing this, the pitfalls, and so pardon my glancing down to read my script. So you're wondering, what are the 3 things? Okay, number 1, I don't gain weight anymore. Yes, you heard me say that. I do not gain weight anymore. Perhaps I'll go up or down a pound or 2, maybe 3 pounds, but I no longer gain weight. Number 2, my increased energy, off the chart. Off the chart. I wish I had this energy when I was raising my children. 3, most important, listen ladies, I eat carbs every day and I drink wine every day. That in and of itself should should gauge your interest, and it did for me. I talk about that all the time, and some people might say, well, who cares that you eat carbs and drink wine? Well, then this video is not for you. But I eat carbs every day, and I drink 1 to 2 glasses of wine almost every night. So if you're still interested, let's get started. So about 3 years ago, my husband and my girlfriend planned and surprised me with a 50th birthday party, right? And it was in a wine cellar at a beautiful restaurant. They invited about 25 close friends. Well, that day before, my husband kind of had to tell me, because we both woke up with the flu. I had never had the flu, he had never had the flu. And for those of you that have experienced the flu, you understand how devastating that can be on your body. So he was slightly panicked even up until that evening whether we were going to cancel the party, but we put ourselves together, patched ourselves up, and went, and we had a wonderful time. So you're wondering, why is she talking about that? Well, that was in February, and we were also planning a trip, and I was very frustrated with an ongoing battle of putting on 10 pounds, losing 10 pounds. In February is just following the holiday, and you have that holiday weight gain, and we always go to Florida. I think that year we went to Mardi Gras. I can't remember, I apologize. And so there's that dreaded moment where you have to go in your attic or your basement and pull out the alternate season clothes. For us it was, I needed summer clothes. And so for any of you women that can relate to that trepidation you have, because maybe something fit you in August, it's it's not going to fit you in February. And so I was getting very frustrated with that ongoing cycle of gaining, starving, and losing, right? And another anecdote, I was always dieting, always. Eating salads, carrots, cucumbers, whatever. And, you know, you're starving, and then you're binging, you're purging. It's just, I don't know why we put ourselves through this. And I had gone through that lifestyle of eating habit for most of my life. And I remember once we used to spend the summers in Italy at my husband's family's farm. And I remember my husband's uncle saying to him in Italian, why don't you just go put your wife out in the pasture with the cows so she can eat the grass, because that's all she eats. And, you know, that was a time period where I was eating salad just to maintain a caloric intake. Now I still eat salads probably twice a day, but I eat them out of enjoyment. Radicchio, arugula, you name it, I eat a lot of salad, but it's no longer a salad with just plain lettuce. I enjoy a more heavy, substantial salad today. And that always stuck with me, that he felt that I was grazing all day on lettuce like the cows. So we get through the party, it's great. That week, following week, whatever, we go on vacation, and I am very frustrated because while I'm on vacation I end up buying new shorts, whatever, because the clothes that I brought with me, I don't know why I thought they were going to fit me, and they don't. They're tight, you're uncomfortable, you've focused on the fact that, you know, 10 months later you're already out of those clothes. And so I had reached a point where I had enough. And so I don't recall actually if it was Dr. Oz or the Today Show, someone was demonstrating this new fad called intermittent fasting. However, it really gained popularity in the UK before it came here. And they had several people that had tried it. Examples, you know, we love a good photo before and after. We love visuals, and I have a visual with me today. And so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to show you a pair of shorts that I ordered in preparation to that, I believe it was the Mardi Gras trip. I buy most of my clothes on Poshmark, and so this is a pair of shorts that I bought, and I'm going to stand up and show them to you at the moment, right? If you can see them. Okay, you probably can't see them right now. Okay, so I bought these, right? And I don't know what size they are, but when I bought them, they came in, they didn't fit me whatsoever. I couldn't even get them over my thighs, and so that vacation wasn't our best. Okay. So following watching, I think it was Dr. Oz, I went on to Google and Googled intermittent fasting like any of you would, and that led me down this rabbit hole of videos on YouTube. So I'm going to simplify this for you and save you the heavy lifting. Two people, I'll link them below. Dr. Eric Berg and Tom Delauer. Okay, so Dr. Eric Berg, I'm going to read you what I wrote. He breaks down everything in simple terms, simpletons like me, with charts. He explains everything so that someone like myself, and perhaps for you, can understand that. I don't have a medical background, so the terminology needs to be very easy to understand. He covers fasting cycles. He covers the methods and the health benefits and the recommended fasting time periods. He occasionally discusses that, you know, fasting was written about in the Bible. You know, there's so much information on fasting, okay? Tom Delauer, he expands on the diet with a fitness component. So they bring to the table very different perspectives. Tom Delauer discusses about the benefits of fasting and exercising, and fasting while you're exercising. I don't recommend, if you don't exercise, to start exercising and intermittent fasting. I think this is something that you should slowly experiment with, and you can always add exercise, or perhaps start walking a mile a day or something, but I don't recommend getting right into a HIIT workout or a cardiovascular workout. I just think that your body, especially in women our age, need to slowly add different components to our lifestyle. Okay, so Dr. Berg, he was very interesting, and he brought up a lot of things about our blood sugar, cardiovascular health. Very, very interesting, and a lot of thought-provoking data that he refers to. You know, you might follow these videos and not find it interesting, and that's fine. But if you are looking for a change in lifestyle, I can tell you I will live this life till I can't any longer. I can't imagine why. This past June was 2 years. I wanted to celebrate, but I think we just got so busy with the summer and great weather finally that I forgot to celebrate. But I'm very proud of that because I never backslid into old habits. I'm going to discuss with you the beginning that it was a little bit hard, but I never gave up. And I can't say that about any other diet that I've ever done. And of course, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So I practice the 16-8 method, right, which is 16 hours of fasting, most of which is sleeping. So that's, you know, 8-9 hours, well, not 9 hours, 7-8 hours of sleeping. And the remainder is they call it a feeding window or an eating window. And I practice that 7 days a week. On the weekends, however, we eat a little later. I enjoy wine a little later. And so the next day, what I do is I extend my fasting period. I'll explain that a little bit more too. And I will have upcoming videos on how I break my fast, what I eat in a day, and my exercise. And so this is just a periphery on my experience with intermittent fasting. Now, the first week was very difficult, as in anything. Your body needs to adjust. It kind of goes into a little shock. You have periods of lightheadedness, of course. You know, if you give up coffee or something in our life, you know, you experience these same symptoms. Nothing was drastic. What I learned, there's so many different opinions about breaking your fast. Let me back up a little bit. And some people say you can put milk in your coffee. Some people say you can drink bullet coffee. Well, Tom Delauer is right. You can't put anything in your body other than water, black coffee, or tea, for example. If you put anything else in your body during that fasting period, you will break the fast. Now, I didn't believe this. I started putting milk in my coffee, so I would get up in the morning and have coffee. So for the first few weeks I was doing it, I was hungry, but I wasn't really fasting, and I wasn't losing weight, and I wasn't experiencing any of the benefits that were purported. So after I fell upon Tom Delauer's channel, I realized I really needed to completely fast. And so that's what I do now. When I get up in the morning, I have a double espresso, black. And then I don't have anything until 1 o'clock, 1:30. And you might think, oh my God, that's absolutely ridiculous. How can she do that? I do run 5 miles around 9:30 every day. I run on a fasted state. You know, this is a process. I didn't exercise a lot during those first few months. I kept to walking and light exercise because I do think you need to slowly engage the fasting, the exercise. So I will say that aside from the lightheadedness, and really goes away, and the hunger pains do go away, and your body does respond. Definitely your body responds. Okay, so just reading my notes here, I apologize. What I don't experience anymore is joint pain. I think this is so significant because I used to take that OsteoBiflex every day faithfully because I used to have knee pain, a lot of joint pain in my knees, of course from exercise. I haven't had OsteoBiflex now for almost 2 years. After a while, I realized I didn't have it anymore and I stopped taking the OsteoBiflex. Okay, so I have no explanation. Secondly, these are a list of the things that I find that I've benefited from intermittent fasting. I haven't had a cold since I turned 50, when I had pneumonia. Ammonia, that's what my mother-in-law says. English is her second language. She always says ammonia, and I think we've all started saying pneumonia. I haven't had a cold. I haven't had an upper respiratory. I haven't had anything whatsoever. And I don't know what else to attribute that to. So I don't have a direct correlation, but these are the things that I've noticed in the last 2 years that are fundamentally different. I discuss my stamina. You know, what's interesting is when I run now, I have so much more stamina in my exercise. When I'm done running, I get into a resistance routine. I mean, I can work out so much longer and harder now. It's really, and I'm 53. I have no explanation for this. I no longer have that, we used to call it hangry. I no longer have that feeling anymore that I can't focus or function because I'm so hungry. Maybe it's part because my body has adjusted, but I don't have that do or die feeling any longer with food. I don't have that hungry state of mind. I no longer look at the clock. Or days prior, I used to eat based on the clock. That takes a lot of time to unravel some of our old habits, and that was one of mine. I don't have salt cravings anymore. They've really dissipated. I used to have a salt, let's say, tooth. I mean, you name it that's salty, I would crave it. And I don't have any strong cravings anymore. I've never really had a sweet tooth, but now I find that even fruit is too sweet for me. My tastes have changed, and I don't have a heightened sense anymore, sensory of salt or sweet. My hair, well, of course today I blow dried it and then flat ironed it because it's like 98 degrees out and very humid. I have such soft, silky hair. What, ladies, could it be from? I don't have an explanation for that either. I remember sitting in a hair salon in a chair once of the owner of the salon. This is about 15 years ago, and I will never forget what the owner said to me, because I used to have a lot of breakage. I used to have a lot of thinning. My hair was always coming out in my fingers, not in clumps, but it was a very sad process watching my hair fall out. And she said to me, you just have to accept it. You're older, your hormones. You should just cut your hair short, like right below your ears, and it'll look fuller, and why fight against your hormones? And I remember like crying in the chair thinking, is this it? I was probably 35 or 40 and thought, that's it? I won't have hair anymore? I mean, if I had an explanation, if I was sick, God forbid, then I can, of course, accept that. But I just thought, why is my hair growing? Isn't growing? And why are my fingernails brittle? Okay, so now my hair grows so fast. My fingernails, my toenails especially, are always pushing on my sneakers. I'm always having to go back to nail salon and have my toenails trimmed. So is it a combination of my cleaner diet and the intermittent fasting? Because if you watch these videos like Dr. Berg and Tom Delauer, and there's so many others, these are the things that they say to pay attention to because you'll notice a change. So I don't have any certainty to correlate these things, but these are the things that I'm experiencing. Listen, I no longer fear the suitcase. We go on a lot of trips, and I just go up stairs. I have all my clothes now in one of the spare bedrooms. I pull them out, I put them on, and I think, oh my goodness, everything fits. I no longer gain weight. I mean, how often can you say at 53 that you have not put on 5, 10, or 15 pounds? And when I used to go to the doctor all the time, I'd get on the scale backwards, and I'd always say to the nurse, I'm gonna get on backwards, write down the number, and don't tell me what it is. And it was always a mixed reaction with that when I would preface that before I'd get on the scale. I said, listen, I don't want to have that number. I don't want to be preoccupied with that number for the remainder of the day, because you get stuck on a number, whatever it is, and it would bother me all week. I didn't want to know what it is. We all fear the scale, and so I continued to get on backwards. So last year, I was at a doctor's office, and even though I'm thinner now, I said to the girl, I'm going to get on backwards. Don't tell me what the number is. She said, okay. I sit back down, And she said, your weight is 125. And I looked at her and I said, well, so much for not telling me what I weigh. And I guess she just really didn't understand what I was asking of her, and she didn't mean any harm by it. And then I don't remember a lot that the doctor said for the first 5 minutes, because I couldn't believe he said I weighed 125. I don't know what I weighed previous. I can guess. I think I was probably 140. I do have these shorts on, and I don't know if you can see that right now I've put them on. Let me just move the camera a bit. You can see that I could fit, I could take these shorts off without even unbuttoning them here. Okay, so I don't know what that weight loss translates to. I don't know. I'm guessing I weighed probably 140. So, but weight loss is a byproduct of this lifestyle. If you're looking to lose weight, okay, I suggest you try it. But more importantly, it's so easy. I do eat carbs. I do eat very well. My mother-in-law, like I said, lives with us. She's Italian, and she bakes bread every other day, right? And so I have that wafting through the house. So at night, we all always have Italian bread. We have a piece of cheese. We have a glass of wine. So I eat carbs. I'm not a big meat eater. And, you know, whether someone eats a hamburger or a piece of bread, I mean, they're not always recommended by your doctor, but I prefer carbs over any piece of beef, okay? So I eat carbs every day. I eat some lean protein, mostly, you know, salmon. I eat a lot of tuna fish, chickpea-based burgers, etc. So I don't eat a standard American diet, right? But I eat whatever I want. If I come to your house and you're serving braised short ribs, oh my gosh, I'll be so excited and I'll eat it. If you serve it with polenta or mashed potatoes, I eat everything. I have a pretty healthy appetite as well, but I think that relates to my exercise. So I can probably eat more than the average woman my age because of my workout. But there is very few things that I turn away. Probably dessert, because I'd rather have a glass of wine than a piece of chocolate cake. It's just that simple for me. So I don't limit myself whatsoever. I eat an avocado every day. I do have listed some of the things that I eat. So I'll continue with my, I got off track. One thing I wanted to also say is my skin. I've mentioned this in a previous video that where I go and I get Botox in my forehead. When I go there every year, the doctor always says to me that my skin is so clear since I've been going there, which is 3 years. So again, is that intermittent fasting? Probably a combination with my cleaner eating. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I do try to eat very healthy. And our bodies are built in the kitchen, ladies. They're not built in the gym. I like to exercise, so therefore I do. But our bodies are designed and built in the kitchen. I learned that a long time ago, and I think it's just a fact. So around 1 o'clock, the first thing I do is I have my real cup of coffee, right? I have dark roast. I break my fast with MCT oil, which is a lot of vitamins and minerals packed into 2 teaspoons that I add to my coffee. It's just, I buy it in a coffee creamer style. You can buy it on Amazon. I buy mine at Marshall's. They have it in the food section. It's called MCT oil, and I'll try to put a link below for you. It almost has a little coconut taste to it that I add to the coffee. It's like 30 calories. And then I also use powdered creamer because I'm not really a fan of half and half or cream. It just doesn't react well with my body. So while I'm drinking my coffee, I make my lunch. And my favorite lunch, I heard, was very similar to Elvis's. I always have like 2 pieces of whole grain bread, wheat bread. It's just a choice. I really prefer a hearty piece of bread. And I buy the peanut butter powder, add some water to it, peanut butter first on the bread, I smash a banana, and then I put pumpkin seeds on the bread. Okay, I can't get enough of that. I eat that every single day, and then I finish that meal off with a piece of fruit like a nectarine and some pistachio nuts. I buy at Aldi the little singular pack, 120 calories, although I don't count calories, but just so you're curious what that little pack is. And then on other days, I make a huge salad. I eat one whole avocado. Every day I have an avocado. Some tomatoes, arugula. I'll boil, hard-boiled eggs are always in the fridge, falafel, chickpeas. You know, my salad always weighs like 2 pounds. It's huge. And then I make a dressing usually with lime, honey, brown mustard, what do you call that? Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar. You know, whatever I have on hand. I'm not picky and I'm not fussy. And I always have pistachio nuts. And I snack on nuts and seeds around 4 or 5 o'clock. Another piece of fruit while I'm cooking dinner. And my dinner is always a big salad layered with whatever I've cooked, whether we're having pasta, whether I'm having chicken. I'll just put right on top of my salad whatever meal I've created for dinner, whether it's meatballs, you name it, it goes on there. And I always have a glass of wine. Some nights I have 2. So on the weekends I was saying that we go out later. And so I have, you know, around 8 o'clock after dinner, if we're at a restaurant, I'll continue to have a glass of wine or 2. And so sometimes my last glass of wine will be 10 o'clock. And so the next day I try to push my window until 1:32. I don't always, but sometimes I do that. And then there's the OMAD effect, which is a 1 meal a day plan. I do that during the holidays. I do an OMAD. I kick that in like 3 days a week because over the holidays I like to eat everything. And I kind of have a fear of like gaining weight. It hasn't happened, so I don't know if because I add the OMAD to it, I don't know. I'm not consistent, but if I ever think like I've overdone something, the next day I'll only eat once a day. I don't recommend this in the beginning, maybe not even the first year, because this requires discipline, and the discipline is much easier after 2 years. Much easier. So my eating window is between 1 and 6:30. I never eat after 7, never. Weekends, yes. Or if we're at someone's home and, you know, I adjust accordingly. But as a rule, I eat nothing. I'll drink water, I drink seltzer. So I'll drink water, but I don't ever put anything in my mouth whatsoever after dinner. I think if you listen to your body, it really does speak volumes. I think our body has cues. And so I think I have developed a keener sense of my body during this process. And there are a lot of styles to intermittent fasting. There are other feeding, I hate that word feeding windows. It always sounds like sharks in the water to me. Your fasting and eating windows. There are alternate day of intermittent fasting. There are different time periods. This is the fasting window that works best for me. People always say to me, how do you do it? Aren't you hungry? Yes, in the beginning I was, but that quickly dissipates. For all of you that have experimented with like keto dieting or no carbs, you know that the first few days, headache, sluggishness, lethargy, all of those things are common because your body is like, whoa, what is going on? I'm hungry. All these nerve endings are on heightened sensitivity and alert, and they're yelling, what is going on? So I'm not going to suggest that when you do this, if you're interested in it, that it's going to be easy. But after a week, I mean, just think, you know, we're already in July. If you started this in January, you know, by the second week of January, you would be feeling better. I recommend this if you're looking to diminish the battle. That constant battle of eating and being disappointed, and then being disappointed in yourself. That's the battle that I wanted to give up. Because why we punish ourselves for eating? We're hungry, so we eat. And so I don't know how shame got involved in that, and how you feel bad about yourself because you ate. And it's such a cyclical life. you know, maybe our parents didn't know any different, and trust me, I've been criticized for intermittent fasting by plenty of people. My doctors don't love it, but I think that's because they don't know a lot about it. I will say that in March, I discussed in another video, I did go to the hospital. My first time ever in an emergency room, my first time being admitted. I was experiencing some fainting, and that was a combination of increasing my weight, my workout, not doubling my intake of water. They were afraid I was becoming hypoglycemic. They didn't like me fasting and working out, and so I've had to tweak that. But what I discovered during that process is every part and orifice of my body was tested. I mean, everything. And the testing continued with heart monitors, more blood work. What I can tell you as a result of that is what every doctor said, and I did seek out a second opinion, actually, because I wanted to be certain. I'm in great health. I'm in great health. My heart, my cardiovascular. I still menstruate. I'm 53 and I'm still menstruating. All of my hormones. I haven't even started menopause yet. And I'm in great health according to the doctors and according to all the tests. So it's hard to reconcile when your doctor says, I don't know that you should continue to intermittent fast, and yet he's holding a paper in his hand that gives you all of your lab results and everything is great. I do take some vitamins. I'm going to do a video on everything I eat in a day, and I'll include the vitamins, you know, multivitamins. I'm not one of those women that has, you know, a shoebox full of vitamins. You know, I take probably the same things that you take. So I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. If you're curious, I've been approached many times by people wanting to know more about intermittent fasting. Look it up, study it. I'll have Dr. Berg and Tom Delauer down below. Do your due diligence. And if you have any more questions, if you're curious about something, please comment below.